Good morning. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Any items from the public?
Yes, sir. We have the sheriff had called in.
Sheriff, can you hear us? You're on Eddie's cell phone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to put you up by the speaker so the audience can hear also.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We're on the items from the public. Go ahead.
I just wanted to, first apologize for presenting in this manner. I am in Charleston. I'm attending a school safety conference, and obviously that's an important topic, and I wanted to gather the information, bring it back with me in terms of school safety improvements. So I do apologize for calling in over phone, but I did want to take this opportunity to emphasize my support of the mental hygiene and transportation division that myself, Mike Lang, and my staff has been working so diligently on over the past year. I can attest that through our analysis in terms of what cost savings there are, when you look at mental hygiene trips, and we have one last month that went to Alabama with a juvenile, and I had to have a captain and a younger deputy take that trip. An exorbitant amount of man hours, and close to 4,000 man hours from our office, which includes a cost of over $120,000. Arraignments, 500 man hours. Trips in terms of overtime usage, you're talking over 2,000 man hours, $90,000 worth. If we were to have this transportation division program start, then we could have an enormous amount of cost savings, because when you compare the $120,000 I'm spending on the 4,000 man hours on the trips, when you look at the Berkeley County deputy court marshal salaries and averages, that's only about 82,000, almost 83,000. So the cost savings is nearly almost 40. It's about $38,000. We were named specifically. Berkeley County was named as in the House bill that passed last year as giving us an opportunity to start a program, a mental hygiene trip program. Yes, there's hurdles with the state Department of Health and Human Resources in terms of their tasks and reimbursements and whatnot, but regardless, once that comes to fruition, it's really, really going to save the taxpayers money in terms of, and not only from a monetary standpoint, but think about the services that we will continue to be able to provide, not taking a certified law enforcement officer off the road for a 10-hour trip. Not only one, but sometimes, a lot of times, two certified officers. Like I said, the Alabama trip was a captain as well as a younger deputy. So I wanted to call in. I wanted to express my support for not only Mike Lang, his efforts, his department in helping us bring this program to fruition. We are calling it the Transportation Division of Berkeley County that will help us with these arraignments, mental hygiene trips, and so forth. So I wanted to call and personally express my support of this. I did write a letter. Mike Lang is in possession of that letter, also in support.
Thank you, Sheriff. We will be waiting the letter, and I know it's coming up on our agenda to discuss here pretty soon, so maybe we can get you in here at that time again.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Any other items from the public? If not, move to approve the agenda.
Mr. President Pro Tem, if I could recommend or ask for a amendment to the agenda. We were notified late yesterday evening that Jennifer Swisher is unable to make the meeting today. She will be rescheduled for next week, so I'd like to ask the council to amend the agenda and remove the 11:15 presentation by Jennifer Swisher, your 911 director.
Okay, you heard the recommendation. Do we have a motion?
And also, I guess to amend his motion, the honorary council person won't be with us today.
Okay.
I would make the motion that we accept the amended
agenda?
Agenda for October 27th, 2022.
Having a motion, do I have a second?
I guess.
Okay, well, thank you, sir. Don't stretch it out there too far. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Purchase order. Any questions for there? Tracy? Good? Okay. Happy birthday, Tracy. There's no internal budget revisions. Change in status. New hire recommendation received from Tim Zaya, Director of Community Corrections, for Danielle Cooper Goldeisen as a Joe Tip peer recovery coach with an annual salary of $43,135 effective October 31st. Letter of resignation received from the Sheriff's Department for Brandon Frick effective November the 6th. And that's all the change in status. And do we have a approval for the meeting of the minutes for October the 13th? Everyone was present in the council calendars. Find that real quick here. Okay, today we are here in the chambers at 9:30. They have this evening the Ambulance Authority at 5 and Library Board at 5. And on Monday at 12, the Development Authority, a special meeting. And then on, we'll be back on Thursday the 3rd. And I think that's all we have here right now. On Tuesday the 1st, 5 p.m. Sewer Board, 6 p.m. Stormwater. On Wednesday at 4 p.m. Telemon, nothing Thursday or Friday. So that'll take care of that for a bit. And cancel check requests. We've got a few of those. We've got quite a few of those.
Like
I need to-
Club beverages need to get their act together.
Yeah.
How far back do you check the
Almost a year, don't they? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we pretty much said the same thing. They must not want their payments too bad, or must not have missed their payments.
Yeah, quite a,
Of course, I guess they would have noticed that the check's never cleared.
the council wouldn't, or the finance shouldn't.
Finance,
Yeah.
right.
Alrighty, we're at that point. Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Well, the Berkeley, are they just gonna issue one check?
Yes, sir. We've already worked that out. Has it been issued yet? We've already made it. We've reissued.
Made it whole?
Yeah, we made it.
Okay. Alrighty, motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. We have the Honorable Larry Hess here for the correction of assessment logs and enforcement of assessments.
Missed you last week, Larry.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, yeah.
You could have come in and visited with us.
Well,
I take that as no.
Yeah. Gee, I get that.
I would if I could. I just didn't. Any rate, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
We do have some this week. This is 2 weeks worth here. For personal property, office error, we have a total of 8. We have to get corrections on, and for the reasons that's listed right there, they total up for $2,657.11.
Okay. Do I have a motion for the 8 personal tax exonerations, reason for office error?
So moved, sir, in the amount of $2,657.11.
Motion, do I have a second?
Yes, you did.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. 2 real estate tax exonerations for reason of office error.
Yes, sir. We do. 2 real estate office corrections. They total up to $292.58 for those 2.
All right, do I have a motion for the real estate tax?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed.
All right, thank you. The only other thing I have is we have an application for consolidation. for Sean Wolford, in the Arden District. Have two parcels they want to put together to get one tax bill, partial 9.3 and 9.2, and map 16. I need your approval on that.
Okay, looking for a motion for the application for
Motion to
consolidation.
approve the application of consolidation.
Motion.
Sean Wolford.
Alrighty, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Thank you, sir. It'll be over. I gotta talk to you about an item at the, on the tax office. I'll be over after the meeting. Alrighty, Board of Meeting Reports, Mr. Barnhart.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I had a public service water district meeting. It was fairly short, not much. This is one of the few meetings where they've never approved a subdivision for a commercial property. Nothing. I don't know if that's indicative of the
Economy?
the future, but there were no approvals of any water extensions.
There was no request for it.
Well, I don't know,
Yeah.
just didn't make this meeting.
Hmm.
They reviewed and approved payment number 9 to Snyder Environmental for the facility upgrades to the Woods plant for $331,000. And they have reviewed and approved the change order for the membrane system for the Bunker Hill plant for $647,000, and that is to upgrade the size of it. The executive, they are location for a new water storage tank to replace the existing Ridge Road tank is being further evaluated. And plus, they're talking about a location for a possible bulk filling station in the Inwood area. Because the present bulk storage filling station at the Bunker Hill plant will be, of course, involved in the construction of the plant, so they gotta move it. They're also going to relocate the Liberty tank on the Route 9 there.
Liberty Industrial Park.
Yeah, the Liberty Industrial Park. They hired a engineer for the district, and that's pretty much it.
Going back to the water towers, I do know that on private towers, they do allow cell repeaters or antennas on them.
Yeah, they do.
One discussion that as another meeting I was in, that the cell tower companies who install those do welding on those tanks, and it's creating a rusting issue inside the tank.
Really?
So might want to mention that to the water department. So if anybody attaches anything to the tank, maybe the next tank would have hard points already put on it,
Yeah.
that if they wanted to do for anything with attachments.
And then I had the reason I didn't go to Clorox, and I want to hear about your speech at Clorox.
It was short and sweet.
I had a Zoom call with the local emergency planning commission about an upcoming meeting that you'll be invited to about, let y'all know about what emergency planning commission does, which is involved with Chesapeake Bay, and that was just early stages.
Okay,
So that was my meeting.
sounds good. Mr. Gokenhour.
Yes, sir. Development Authority meeting with the executive board, working on the filling the director's position. That's still ongoing. And also had a landmarks meeting. Landmarks will not be meeting in November and December, so they've started working on the budget for next year, trying to identify some of their needs that they have. And also there was some discussion on the Giles Mill Road, putting the new bridge in. Obviously where it's currently sitting at, the state has brought it right down beside the mill, and there's concern there, with the Giles family, and we certainly support that. The amount of vibration, not only during construction, but everyday traffic right next to the mill. is a less desirable.
So they're relocating it to the left?
Yes, sir, they're
They
coming
say
down.
straighten out that terrible curve.
Yeah, that will all be, wiped out basically.
Any disruption to any of the other properties, like the house up the hill there?
No, sir, they'll be coming down between the quarry property and the other Giles family home. It will be very similar to the bridge that they installed over on Specs Run in behind Ed Moore's
Yeah.
property back in there. Very nicely done, very, very well done.
That was a great improvement.
It was, very much so. So this is kind of along the same way that they want to design this one. It's just where it empties out is right there by the mill. So, we've had some discussions and we've set up some meetings with the Giles family, with DOH.
Is there any, not so much environmental, but historical stuff they gotta do to eradicate that bridge?
No.
Well, when the water company went down along the Peckham Creek, they had to do an archaeological study to make sure they weren't impacting any Indian artifacts. And I don't know if that counts down on Mill Creek or not.
That hasn't been mentioned. I mean, it's a possibility, I guess, but it hasn't been mentioned in any of the reports from the state.
Probably hasn't had to have happened yet, because being in, it's still in the preliminary aspects of it. I'm sure that if there is an issue, that it'll come up.
Sure. That's about it.
Okay. Well, like Mr. Barnhart brought up, Councilperson Gokenhour and I attended the Clorox ribbon cutting last Friday. Very well attended, a little bit chilly outside.
I heard they had, 300 people there?
Oh, I would say at least that. Yeah, it was.
What'd they serve for breakfast?
My gosh, they had a little bit of everything. I didn't have anything myself, but they had coffee, some finger food. It was all prepared by Blue Ridge Community College, Technical College, and that staff. So it was, they had quite a spread.
It's very nicely done.
In my speech, it was very short. I said, I don't know whether it's better to have a litter of cats or cats litter, but I have them both. So, and with that being said, I thank them for choosing Berkeley County to put in their facility. And
They didn't give you a bag of kindling?
no, but however, they gave a $10,000 check to the Blue Ridge Community College, as well as a $5,000 check to the Berkeley County Humane Society and 1 year supply of cat litter. So they're going to be a wonderful community partner. And I thank them for choosing Berkeley County, that if they needed anything, that they would be here to help them. And then I excuse myself and let the more important people talk, like our governor and our Senator Capito, who was there, as well as a representative from Senator Manchin's office.
You know, it's funny, Capito, more than not, will show up, but Manchin won't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've seen that for several years, and it's like, boy, that is weird.
Depends on the election time, I think. the
I don't
cycle.
know, but, of course, now we can't get rid of the governor. It seems like he's here every week.
And, he said that, I was going to make a comment, but I thought I better not, but I'll make it here today, that he says baby dog loves cats. And I said, what do you have, 2 for breakfast or what? But anyway, but no, he did not. So I'll take that one. It's just being funny. But he gave a real nice speech and about the economy and the economic development of Berkeley County and thanked us for,
He should. I mean,
we've been very good to this state.
we've been leading the way for quite a while.
Mhm.
A little off track with that steel mill there in Mason County, but
Yeah, it's a little different, but anyway, I think it's proceeding.
It's always nice to have the governor and the senator in town.
Yeah.
It's always nice.
Craig Blair was there too, wasn't he?
Yes, but I was very humbled to be up on stage, but a lot of the other elected officials, they were in the audience, and the Development Authority, Sandy Hamilton was there, and who am I missing? Well, Mike Holly, he was there from
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Clorox, as well as the CEO from Clorox.
That's him.
Well, and his counterpart then, that was from West Coast, Linda. Sorry, it escapes me because I remember first time I met her, so I just I need to meet you more than once to remember you, or remember a name that day. And that's about it. So it was a lot of interesting equipment in that building and the process that it does take to make cat litter.
They get stuff from Clearbrook?
They get it from Carmoose, which is brought in on rail of their hard stone product, yeah. And then it's goes through a process of powdering down to small granules, and what else? Clay.
And some water, a little bit of water. I was impressed with the technology.
And it's very proprietary to their trade secrets.
It's a very, very technical operation.
I always like, there are other facilities in West Virginia or
Charcoal.
Charcoal,
yeah,
yeah,
charcoal,
Kingsford.
which is cool.
It's in Parsons
back
and
in the
in
mountains.
Tucker County
Yeah.
Mineral
Mineral.
and Hampshire.
and Hampshire. Yep.
Other towns.
This is the only big company that has 3 facilities in one state. So they're so far, I think they've been a very good partner for West Virginia, and I can see it continuing to grow.
Yeah.
Well, we saw their willingness to help support this county
Yeah.
early in the pandemic with cleaning supplies
Yeah.
that they sent in to assist, and that we were able to distribute out throughout the community and different agencies. So, yeah, it's good.
Yep. All right, that's all I have. And board and commission vacancies, we have a reappointment packet received from Susan Crowell for Berkeley County Historic Landmarks, and her term will expire on December the 3rd.
Yes, sir. And also Chris Cox. I'd like to make the motion to reappoint Susan Crow and Chris Cox back onto the Historic Landmark Commission.
I have a motion, to have a second?
Yes. How many landmarks commission members are there?
5.
Oh. So 2 of them do it soon.
Yes, sir.
I have a motion and a second. Any other? Good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. And a reappointment package, motion carried, I'm sorry, and a reappointment package for Riley Hamilton for the Berkeley County Senior Service Board. His term expires on December 31st, 2022. Do we have that ready for a motion, or are we ready to?
That's councilperson
Down.
Dowie's.
You want to hold that off then
Yes,
until he's here?
please.
Okay, we'll defer that one. And we have no honorary council person, and we need a bid opening. We're a little bit early, but want to tell us about it,
Well,
Mr. Davis?
If you wish, if the council will recall, probably a month or so ago, Matthew Umstead appeared before the council to discuss his recommendation that we solicit bids for video production services. Our Office of Strategic Planning and Communications is essentially a 2-person office. And prior to now, it was Mr. Umstead and another employee. That particular employee resigned several months ago to take a job with the West Virginia State Department of Tourism. And at Mr. Umstead's request, we decided not to backfill the job for now because we felt there might be a better way to address some of the needs of the county. One of the ways that we thought was to get some type of contract in place with a company that specializes in doing videos. Particularly the focus of video productions would be the areas of public safety. Of course, emergency communications, Berkeley Fire, and law enforcement that would not only be used for purposes of community education, but we could also use as recruitment tools. So upon the consensus of the council, we did develop a request for proposal for video production services for county departments and agencies. The RFP was distributed directly to 4 companies in this area, one in Martinsburg, actually 2 in Martinsburg, 1 in Hagerstown, and 1 in Morgantown. We had, Mr. Umstead had a pre-bid conference on Monday, October 17th at 10 o'clock a.m. The RFP was also placed on our website in various social media platforms. It was advertised in the Martinsburg Journal on October 5th, 2022. We do have certification publication on file in your packet. The deadline for bid submission was 4 o'clock p.m. yesterday, and we received 3 proposals prior to the deadline. So,
Okay, the first one is from High Rock. We're not looking for a figure yet, are we?
were they to give us prices? Yes, there was a price proposed.
Okay.
Right, we invited them to submit a price.
On the paper here. Unless I'm missing something here. Scope of work. Pre-production, post. Here we go. First video, first full production, all the way through. The total price is $94,080. Hagerstown, Maryland. Bid number 2, Thad Reed Productions, Lewisburg Lane, Martinsburg. Get to the page. Total annual projection. Sure, there's a couple. Insurance certificate. $33,000. That's what I see here. And the third Social Connections Marketing. See where they're from. Says Glenbrook Road, Ransom, West Virginia. So if I add these together, Matt, you'll have to go over through these, I think, one more time, but there's three different figures here. And it's 36, 30, they all total up to be $39,900.
Okay.
$39,900, so I'll let you
Okay. Thank you.
be the master of that. If I read it right.
Okay.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Added it up to.
Alrighty, sir, is that it for that?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And just in time, Randy Lilly, Director of Emergency Services. And Marty Roberts, is he here yet? We need Marty for that.
Yes.
There he is. Come on up. You're just in time. Recognition of the fire department, so it's all yours.
As we came to the council several meetings ago and told you folks that we had to go back and go through the process through the State Fire Commission, and they were making us get a first rerun area, which we did get that through Baker Heights over off of Mall Drive. All the documentation that we submitted to them was basically, we went right through phase 1 and phase 2 all at the same time because all the documentation was there for both phases. We received a letter just a couple weeks ago
Dated October 14th. So it
from
was.
the State Fire Marshal's office that we are now recognized as the first career county fire department in the state of West Virginia.
Not that it's been a long time coming, but it's been so much needed here, and nothing when I say about that. Our volunteers are wonderful to have, but lives change, life changes, and the county's changed.
Well, we're moving so fast,
Yes.
in growth and so forth that it's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
In today's world, with sports, volunteers, I was in that category with my boys in sports. You used to be able to play football one time a year. Now you can play football all year long. You can play soccer all year long, and baseball and so forth. And that takes time away, and the training demands. You almost have to be in the profession to keep up with it.
Yeah, I like to volunteer when I can. More lately, I've been voluntold, but still, many thanks to the help of Eddie over the years and making sure that the county is a lot safer for the protection of the citizens.
And with that being said, from his legacy of where he took Berkeley Fire to, we picked up, and we have a great group of men behind us. And this is just not, it's just not Randy and I standing up here. It's the whole department of Berkeley Fire standing here with us, because without them, we wouldn't be able to stand up here and do what we're doing and accomplish what we're doing without them as a team.
Well, what's the next step?
The next step,
Yeah.
we have to find a revenue source. That's the next step. And I will be personally honest with you. I say we are in the fire service somewhat. We are a lisping ship. And we are bailing water, and we're bailing water the best we can bail water with the personnel that we have, and moving people around and so forth, to try to ensure that our mission is complete to the volunteers and the citizens of Berkeley County. But at some point, we have to find that revenue source so we can move forward in these other departments and going 24/7 to ensure that we have 24/7 coverage in the south, west, north.
Well, Councilman Ed, or Gokenhour was in the office and telling us a little bit about volunteer stations in other parts of West Virginia. It was quite enlightening what he told me this morning.
I had the opportunity over the last 2 days to travel southern West Virginia, and I got to looking around, and there are 21 volunteer fire departments in McDowell County. 21. You know, who are each receiving, $44,000 a year compared to our 5 that's receiving those funds. So there's quite a discrepancy. I won't say a discrepancy, but there's a huge difference between the revenues that are being generated through the State Fire Commission and Treasurer's Office going to that McDowell County compared to a growing county here who's only running out of 5. But I know some of those departments are probably critical just because of the lack of roadways that they have to get from one town to the next, or their geography.
Accessibility.
Their geography is challenging in itself. So, but when you look at it, I think they were 500 some square mile, where we're 324. But just their geography alone creates those challenges. But
And then you come back to Berkeley County and you see the 5 fire departments that they're first new fire districts, and they're rather large. In comparison to a lot of other places where, a couple miles down the road, you have another fire department. Just like using, for example, Hardin-Hallville, going out to Hardin-Hallville, Baker Heights and South Berkeley, and we've included the Air National Guard for water out there. We have no water source. Well, we do, but not municipal water sources.
I think that the biggest difference, and we've seen it as times have gone on and we've grown, are simply the call volumes are really stretching the resources that we have, especially on a 24-hour view. But I know these guys, they do what they can do, and they've saved a lot of property, no doubt. We have trouble with consistency. Sometimes after hours, the volunteers will do a tremendous job, and then there's times that there's nobody available. So we have to find some consistency, and but you're a paid fireman or volunteer fireman.
You're all trying to
They do.
achieve the same
Everybody
goal.
works well together. They're just like any other family. They have their quarrels or whatnot. But at the end of the day, I know that everybody is there to serve the public, and that's why you're there. So, thank you, Chief Roberts and Randy, for your determination of seeing this through. I know there were several hoops for you to jump through. You had the patience to do that, and thank you for getting that nailed down. So, good job.
Thank you.
I asked Marty and Randy to come in because this is a big deal.
Monumental.
This is something that Councilperson Gokenhour kind of led the charge on many years ago. Not to date you, but it's something that's been a long time in coming. And when we received this letter dated October 14th from the Office of the State Fire Marshal that says that we are now classified as a paid fire department, and we are now designated as the Berkeley County Fire Department, and they actually have to issue us a separate FDID number, a new FDID
Yes,
number. because of the change in status. I told Randy and Marty both, this is a big deal, and it needs to be recognized that, when they were in here in September, and the council gave them your authorization to move forward, I never anticipated that within a period of 2 or 3 weeks, the state would come back and approve it. So I think, we should recognize, first we need to recognize Baker Heights, because Baker Heights was willing to work with us and give us that part of their first due area, which was, kind of the tipping point. But I think we should also recognize the state of West Virginia, for their willingness to approve it in such a short period of time. You've heard me say time and time and time again that federal and state government would drive me crazy because of how long it takes them to do something. Well, they proved me wrong here. They turned it around pretty fast, and I think we need to recognize them for their willingness to work with us also.
I think you're right. I believe that they recognized our need also to make this happen efficiently and smoothly. And I don't know how smooth it was. I hope it was pretty smooth for you, but
Speed bumps.
speed bumps.
Councilman Guggenheim was present for a conversation that I had with a fire commissioner. Basically, I used the analogy to him that I knew that this would work. And this would be a small ripple in the pond of throwing a small stone versus trying to go to all 5 volunteer departments and trying to say, hey, we need a piece of run area, which I would then consider throwing the boulder in the pond and the ripple being rather large. With that being said, in the meeting, so forth, I had to stand in front of members of Baker Heights Fire Department who I had served as their chief for 18 years, and explain to them that there was no behind the scene stuff trying to take place, but we wanted them to be present so everybody had their opportunity to voice their opinion and vote how they wanted to vote, not how I wanted them to vote, but how they individually wanted to vote. And the membership voted in favor of it to continue to move Berkeley County Fire forward in the process of what we needed to get done. Hats off to them, because they stepped up and they allowed us to continue to be able to move and grow the way that we needed to, and not be stuck back in this fire prevention unit stigma of what the fire commission and fire marshals always had developed. Now there's a process, Berkeley County Fire, Berkeley County Council, Berkeley County as a whole, leading the state of West Virginia for other counties to follow behind, and we're out front leading. And we still have some challenges ahead of us. This past week I've been on the phone with them 2 days in a row now in conference calls over reporting properly. We haven't found the answer yet, but we are diligently working to resolve problem for other departments that come on as county career fire departments and reporting also. So yeah, we're moving forward, but there's still growing pains, and so we're going to tackle them. And
Well, just nurse it correctly and it'll grow good.
How many other counties are moving towards?
we've had roughly around 5 counties now that has been in contact with us. One I did a Zoom meeting with, cross Zoom with their County Fire and Rescue Association. And Upshur, I believe, was the one that came to the office. The guy came to the office and sat down and had about a 4-hour meeting with me trying to figure out the challenges and so forth that we went through. Chief Guggenheim went through a lot more challenges than what I've had to go through, but following his lead, I'm not going to back away from a challenge that needs to be accomplished. I can guarantee you that.
Good.
This change in status will also open the door to a lot more grant opportunities that we didn't have
Well,
before.
it says here, this is an important number for a myriad of reasons. It should be kept in a secure location. So I guess,
It's in my office.
Yeah.
Okay.
but yeah, you got your.
And so to leading into the next challenge where we're at in the reporting, that's where we're trying to get the reporting down right. So statistically, we have evidence of what we're doing, and also the volunteers are still getting their statistical information also. So there's a little bit of challenge in there of how we're going to do the reporting, because all right, I'll go into it real quick. I said Berkeley County Fire applies for a state or a FEMA grant for $250,000 for turnout gear. But if we're only over here reporting on Swiftwater and hazmat, that's not showing us doing any structural firefighting, no vehicle accidents, no entrapments, vehicle rescues or so forth. That if I'm sitting there reading this grant coming in from Berkeley County for a period of 3 years, and there's only roughly about 150 calls, and you're asking for 250,000, I don't think so. If it was me, they're judging or having an opinion about that grant. So that's somewhat where the struggle is right now, that I'm trying to get nailed down to where both the volunteer fire departments and Berkeley Fire is getting that statistical information. So in 2025, when we're eligible then to apply for a FEMA grant through AFG, we will be eligible, and we will have the statistical information to back up what we're doing.
Good.
Hopefully they get some language changed in the code. The language in the code is a problem. And until that's solved, that's going to be an issue, so.
So what you're saying then is come the legislative summit, we need to enlighten our delegation to look at that language to modify it.
Well, maybe we can work with Matthew and Anthony
To come up with
to
right.
actually give them the language that we would like for them to adopt.
Yeah.
We find that it's more effective if we do the heavy lifting for them and say,
Here it is.
here
Yeah.
it is,
Well,
just
that-
modify it.
And it's always good to have the buy-in and support of the state fire marshal's office and the state fire commission.
Absolutely.
So whatever we would do, get their voice in it as well, and it will carry a whole lot better.
And I think that's why this approval came through so fast, because this didn't come as a surprise to anybody. I know that Councilperson Gokenauer has spent countless hours talking to and meeting with the State Fire Commission, as well as Randy and Marty. So it's not like that they weren't aware of what's going on in Berkeley County.
Would
I
it
think
be
it was February, we went down towards Beckley. They requested for me to come and put a presentation on in front of the State Fire Commission in reference to how Berkeley County Fire started, where it was today, and where we see it going in years to come. And the PowerPoint presentation that we put together out of the office showed what is going on in Berkeley County and the things that we are doing here on a daily basis. And I think it was very eye-opening to a lot of those commissioners sitting there. So once that door got opened and they kind of understood a little more of what was going on here, what we were doing, and so forth, not that he didn't explain it enough, but it's almost like some ears were closed when he was talking, that because the same thing that they asked of me, he had already told them. But sometimes when you show illustrations of things that are going on and things that are being done, people get a better understanding, I believe, of what truly we are doing here in Berkeley County.
And I would like to compliment you. You are probably a lot more patient in your responses tonight because I just didn't want to see anybody slow us down. We need to keep moving. So,
You
good job.
remember the statement you made to me? You need to
I
make
know exactly
friends.
what I said.
You need to make friends. And that's what I set out to do, is make friends and be honest about everything and not try to hide something, whether it's from Berkeley County volunteers or the State Fire Commission, to be straightforward and put it out there. And at the end of the day, the chips are going to fall where the chips are going to fall. And then maybe if we need to adjust them or
Do you,
track some, we can.
do you think it'd be beneficial if anybody from the state fire commission should come to the legislative summit yet, or in due time?
Maybe not right now.
Okay. Something to think about if we have something.
And like I said, they're wanting to get it right with us.
Mhm.
So, not that if we're looking at a football game, not that we've fumbled the ball, because we hold on to the ball very well when it's in our possession. But there has been some fumbles in the game along the way.
As long as we pick it up and start running with it again.
Yes.
That's what we gotta do.
Yes, we are very good at recovering fumbles.
Good.
And the problem is we'll have to go back and we'll be going along for a couple months, and this is what we're doing, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, put on the brakes here, and then we got to retract a little bit and adjust something to move forward. And I get it. It's all new. It's all new to them, and they want to make sure that they have their I's dotted and their T's crossed when the next county comes in behind us. This is what Berkeley County's done. This is what you have to do to be what Berkeley County's like.
Very good.
And talking about legislative, Councilman Guggenheim and I, we always have talked about things of fire services. But different counties like Frederick County, Virginia, Loudoun County, Virginia, they're all under one umbrella when it comes to fire and rescue. And then there's the Leesburg Fire Department, and, talking Frederick County here close, you have the Clearbrooks, the rental stores, and so forth. Those are their own individual kind of departments, but they're under one umbrella
Of their state or community or
of the county.
county.
Yes.
In their language, it allows for county fire departments to be created. In the West Virginia State Fire Code, there's no mention of a county fire department. You're either municipal or you're volunteer or a combination. But nowhere does it mention a career
Standalone.
county fire department.
Really?
And that's been part of the problem. And we already have language. If
We can get
it's
it
been
inserted?
created,
Okay.
it's been created, but I'm sure it needs some attention, so.
Sounds good. Thank you all for your hard
Yep.
work, and it's a great day for Berkeley County citizens.
I'd just like to add that, echo what Chief Roberts said, it's the whole department, it's us and the 21 guys that are behind us, let's make this happen. And, I want to echo what Alan said as well, Eddie was spearheading this years ago that started this process, and this was moving along, and we're just going to continue to move with it, and it shows that, Berkeley County is the first one in the state to do this. We're leading by example, providing this service to the community. But also want to acknowledge the council as a whole. Without the backing and support of the council and Mr. Davis, we wouldn't be able to do and accomplish the things that we do. So I want to thank the council for their support in the process as well. This is a big meeting for us.
It is.
Yeah, because, not only state, but locally, we're out there, pay, retirement. We got a rather, it's pretty nice incentive to come to work.
When we pull together, we pull the best.
Yes.
So,
I thank all of you all for getting us to that point and allowing us to continue to grow too. So thank you all.
Make sure you get with Matt so we can get a media blast out about this. And then I'll make sure, Eddie, that since you're kind of the grandfather of this whole thing, I'd like for you to make a comment or two.
Be happy to.
That'd be great.
But before we finish up though, I really want to thank the volunteer fire departments as well. You know, it took a while for everybody to eventually buy into this operation. And, you know, we know the pride that's within these organizations, where they've started from, where they are today, and thank them for what they've been able to do and still do today.
And the fire board.
And the fire board for help funding those volunteer fire departments, absolutely, absolutely.
And the citizens.
Yeah, it takes us all.
That's correct. It takes a village of people to make it work. There's no doubt about that.
Thanks for what you're doing. You're doing good work. Keep moving.
Thank you all very much.
Ladies,
Thank
have a
you.
great day.
See ya.
All righty, just in time for a break.
Great.
All righty, we'll be in. We're back in session and after the break, and we have Tracy, Elizabeth, and April. Grants update.
Morning. We're going to give this in 3 parts. I'm going to give the overview from January 1st, 2022 through October 21st, 2022, which was last Friday. April's going to do a complete grant department, all the years overview, and then Elizabeth is going to highlight 2 grants with a couple of testimonies in there.
Good.
So for the summary ending this year, October 21st, 2022, we have applied for 67 grants in the amount of $15,651,227.99. We've been awarded so far this year 14 grants in the amount of $2,449,581.36. We had one American Rescue Plan drawdown of $11,573,785. We have 20 outstanding applications for the year in the amount of $3,873,593. We still have 13 outstanding CARES Act applications in the amount of $8.8 million. We have been denied 35 applications this year in the amount of $8,473,354.62.
And the denials, do you learn from your denials is what's being denied or why it's being denied? Or?
Some people do. The federal government has been really good at, they'll either send you a score sheet or you can set up a meeting for them and they'll go over your grant and tell you where you scored low so that you can go back and reapply the next year. The state doesn't do that.
And you're usually more successful the second year
Yes.
when they do that.
Yes, very much. This year we have managed 33 awards in the amount of $27,366,128. We currently have active 16 grants in the amount of $6,668,139.39, not including American Rescue Plan money, which would bring the total to $34,267.36. We have closed out 12 grants this year in the amount of $1,164,067, and there's currently 10 grants that we're working on that are under development. We have given 5 technical assistance on grants to outside agencies, other counties, or states. We have attended 13 grant conference calls. We have attended 216 webinar or trainings on grants, and we have attended 4 webinars on targeted violence, terrorism prevention, with 1 conference call in that targeted violence, terrorism prevention. And April is going to come and give you an overview of the grants for all years.
Our folks are so well informed, particularly on CARES grants and the ARPA grants, that last year, when the independent auditors were here, they walked away with more information than they came with, which is always good to hear the auditor say, we
didn't know that.
We didn't know that.
Good deal. Thank
Good
you.
morning. In 2015, there was an estimated 7 grants awarded at $372,437. In 2016, there was an estimated 10 grants applied for and $417,673.70. 4 of those grants were awarded at $41,662.15. In 2017, there was an estimated 34 grants awarded for $995,809.06. 2018, there was 11 grants estimated awarded for $1,104,122.83. In 2019, there was 13 grants applied for in the amount of $4,770,806.87. There was 15 grants awarded that year for $3,167,745.83. In 2020, we applied for 8 grants in the amount of $1,184,375.55. There was also 24 CARES grants applied for in the amount of $6,649,502.92. Excuse me. 7 grants were awarded in the amount of $1,184,375.55, and 24 CARES grants were awarded in the amount of $5,911,594.61. In 2021, we applied for 44 grants in the amount of $16,061,618.74. 21 grants were awarded in the amount of $3,245,347.80. There was also 12 CARES grants applied for that year in the amount of $8,891,824.43. 1 ARPA grant was awarded in the amount of $11,573,785. So far this year, we've done 67 grants in the amount of $15,651,227.99. 14 have been awarded in the amount of $2,449,581.36. And we have 1 ARPA in the amount of $11,573,785. With a total from 2015 to 2022 in $41,206,147.04.
You telling us you're busy?
Yes.
Out of the 67 grants applied for, have you heard back from all of them yet, or just those 14?
Just those 14.
Wow, okay.
April is not a grants writer, but April does the grants coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
She does all of the drawdowns, all of the budget for these 2 ladies for the grants they work on.
And does all the
This writing.
documentation,
Okay.
so that if the feds would come in and do an audit, or when the independent auditors come in, and I explained, I think last week or the week before, that the reason we have difficulty finding an independent auditor that wants to do the council's audit is primarily because of our grants. They take so much time to look at. I've always said, it's one thing to apply for a grant, it's another thing to receive the grant and then have to administer it. That takes a tremendous amount of time, and if you would see on any given day when some reporting is due, copies of check stubs, copies of payroll, April may have, I don't know how many trees we have to kill just to report
The
on a
grant.
grant, particularly if it's a federal or state grant. So it's pretty labor intense.
We never have to prepare for an audit. We're always ready for an audit. So if there's ever a surprise audit for some reason, the auditors can walk back, ask for a particular grant at random, re-pull the file, and they should never have to go to another department unless they want to cross-reference. Everything's in that file already for them.
Wow. Very good.
That doesn't surprise me. You guys are a tremendous team, and I've watched you guys, for a number of years, how you communicate with one another, and that you actually have the ability to finish one another's sentence. So I know how close you are, how hard you all work, and how successful you have been. And thank you.
It's taken us a while to get to this point. And every time we get a new grants team, it's always better than it was before. And I've seen it from when we got like 4 grants, and now we're getting whatever the number is.
14.
And
This year.
now that we have the team that we have that's been in place for so long, they have a working relationship with Tracy McCormick and also our finance department, so that the coordination between the different departments on obtaining the documentation and things like that, I think, is much smoother than it was a couple of years ago.
Very much so.
Those federal and state tax dollars have been appropriated, by the federal government for communities to draw down from. And fortunately, this council has had the vision to say, look, go get those tax dollars, bring them back to Berkeley County. And you all knocked it out of the park. There's no doubt about that.
They are great at tracking. We get multiple ACH payments because that's the only way the state pays anymore. Now the federal is going to also us paying through the ACH. And we have to go through the bank account to reconcile, pull those out. And at any given moment, I can pull those out and say, I need documentation. I don't know what this is for, because it's hard to determine, because they only put them into one account. They won't separate them. And I can call anytime and ask any of them to pull, and they have it within minutes for me to be able to reconcile.
We may get an
balances.
ACH from the feds for $400,000, but they don't tell you exactly what
No.
it's for.
We have to depend on them and their backup to tell us who gets this money, what department does this money go to, what was this grant for, so we can document it. They're always on top of it.
I would hope there's some sort of a tracking number that would be on that to
They know
distinguish.
they know what it is.
Yeah,
They can
okay.
find it and track
I was gonna
it.
say that would be almost
I
a
can-
fiasco
They can find it for me in the
if there
minutes.
wasn't.
Yeah, they're
Great
good.
job.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to highlight two of our successful grants. The first one is the Bureau of Justice Administration Comprehensive Opioid Stimulant and Substance Abuse Site-Based Program. Funded our project called Juvenile Opioid Treatment Intervention and Prevention Program, otherwise known as JOTIP, which is hosted by the Recovery Resource Center. The grant began October 1st, 2019, and this grant funds a project coordinator, 3 peer coaches, project aware, 3 office computers, 1 minivan, trainings for staff, and outreach supplies. The focus of this grant would take the JOTIP program and use it to expand education and prevention activities in the 10 middle and high schools in Berkeley County by delivering the Too Good for Drugs curriculum in health classes, as well as sharing lived experience with students. Project Aware was a pilot program originally funded through SAMHSA from 2016 to 2019, and it was in jeopardy of ending due to loss of funding. However, through Berkeley County Council and the JOTIP grant funding, Project Aware was able to continue. Project Aware's purpose is to build and expand capacity of school districts in partnership with mental health agencies for school-aged children, kindergarten through 12th grade, to receive referrals into the program who are in need of help. However, as everyone knows, in 2020, due to the COVID pandemic, adjustments needed to be made in order to reach students. A grant amendment was approved to add more technology equipment so that the JOTIP team could log into virtual classes in the schools while everyone was sheltering at home. 25 tablets with hardshell cases were purchased to be loaned to the Juvenile Drug Court and the Juvenile Detention Center, which provided these youth the opportunity to review curriculum and videos remotely and speak to peer coaches if needed. Interactive display and check-in units were purchased for therapy rooms and group rooms for teletherapy and group meetings for individuals at the Daily Court Center. In the spring of 2021, a 12-month extension was asked and approved so that a full 3-year project could be experienced. Since 2020 and part of 2021, the JOTIP team was restricted from going into the schools. This COSEP grant funding ends September 30th of 2023. So since 2020, the JOTIP program has provided 72 Good for Drugs sessions taught to 2,331 ninth graders. There were 204 referrals, 12 Too Good for Drugs sessions taught to 1,822 students in 3 different middle schools. 23 outreaches have been done. Two Too Good for Drugs sessions were taught to 87 James Rumsey students. 12 group sessions have been done to a vape group at Mountain Ridge Middle. 15 group sessions have been delivered at Timber Ridge School, 18 small group sessions for students in the STAR program. In 2021, 489 students received Too Good for Drugs sessions through the SOUL program in 7 schools, and 275 students have received mental health services through Project Aware. So Tracy mentioned that I'd be reading some testimonies, because that's like a lot of just numbers and statistics. So this was a letter that was received. The JOTIP team received this letter from someone in the program. So it says, quote, "Hi, I'm a high school student in Berkeley County. I just got out of a placement home in another state last month. Part of my probation is to attend the STARS program and trauma-based therapy. Before I got help and took my lifelong goals seriously, I was getting high, having sex, dating older guys, and was participating in vandalism. I wasn't doing things I should have been at the age of 13. But I'm proud of where I am now. When you guys come and talk to us, it really helps me and really encourages me to tell my story. It's hard to talk to people and be the same when they don't listen to what you have to say or they are disrespectful. I appreciate what you all do. I just want to say I hear you. Not everyone is listening, and I sure am."
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the total amount of JOTIP here?
$109,000 some odd dollars.
You do all that for $109,000?
I'm sorry, $809,000. Sorry.
I thought, man, that's, that's quite a
I
grant.
can stretch a dollar.
That's a multi-year grant too.
Yeah.
Because it's not even over yet. Okay. So that was highlighting how we help youth. Now I'm going to switch to our adult individuals. So the adult drug court grant, which closed out on September 30th, 2022, was a 3-year grant in the amount of $345,354. This grant funded a case manager, a home confinement officer, and a part-time driver. And over the 3 years of this grant, there were 52 individuals entered the adult drug court program. 25 have successfully completed the program. 46 participants have received employment assistance. 30 have received housing assistance. 27 have received referrals to education assistance. 4 have received mental health assistance. 2 have received referrals for health care. 54 have received trauma care. 53 have received referrals for social services assistance. 50 have received referrals for recovery meetings. And 21 individuals as of September 30th, 2022 are currently enrolled in the program. So once again, that's the numbers. So here is a testimony from an adult drug court graduate. "I never would have been able to do things in my life that I have if it wasn't for the structure of drug court. I credit my recovery to drug court and the program of AA. I did great in rehab and stayed clean for a short period of time, but it never lasted. The accountability and structured environment the program offers is what I needed to maintain my recovery after I completed the program. I'll have 4 years in recovery on October 24th, 2022. So I have about 3.5 years currently. I was getting high for 15 years of my life. So my whole adulthood until my clean date is me getting high and drunk. I currently am a peer recovery specialist and I love my job. If you would have asked me 5 years ago what I would be doing today, I would have sold myself short. I never saw myself doing this or being where I am today, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I love my life today. I plant seeds of recovery for others to find their own paths and figure out this whole adulting thing together. I let them know I'm here for them day or night in whatever way I can. I'm always willing and happy to help. Today, I own my first home. I have a valid driver's license. I had lost it for 12 years. I have a fiance, a stepson, and a son. I'm a 2-time felon that works for the county, and it's awesome. I needed drug court to be able to grow up and be an adult. I wouldn't be where I am today without it. Quote, Don't settle because you're comfortable, be uncomfortable and grow. So it's showing how successful the programs are.
Very good. Not much I can say after
You
that.
don't use the public speaking, are you?
I'm rusty.
Elizabeth's been with us for, it won't be a year till February, so she's got her feet wet, she's writing grants, she's been awarded a couple of grants, you got the, which one did you got,
For security.
for security grant, which on drug court grant was Elizabeth, writing skills, so she's,
Come along.
she's working at it and doing very well, so we want to get her up here to speak a little bit to the council and to her informed a little bit.
Very good.
I'm out of practice. I used to teach, but this is different.
It's okay.
Well, we're here to learn
You
too.
did very good.
All right, well, thank you all so much. I just, the work you're all doing for the county and for the citizens, the testimonies, they all speak for themselves, it's good to hear.
I wish it's good for this council to see the difference that your actions in support of Day Report Center and your grants team and everybody else, the difference it makes in the community. I wish we could set aside a half of a day, because that's what it would take, and just bring all of your department heads in. We have a department head staff meeting we try to have it every other month. And we meet regularly with department heads, so I think I have a pretty good understanding of what they're doing. But because you're dealing with this today, and this, this last week and this last month, it's not until we get together collectively in a room that you think, oh dear Lord, we've done all that in 2 months. And Tracy and Penny attend those meetings, and you would be really proud of your professional staff and what they do. They're moving at the speed of sound all the time. You've done well, and I think this illustrates
Well,
the investment you're willing to make in the community through your staff.
and it shows in Berkeley County where we're at compared to the rest of the state. It's the team. It's great. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
have
you
one
very
more
much.
thing.
One more?
One more. Tracy has one more.
Okay.
I have a bid recommendation, Department of Homeland Security, fiscal year 2022 Targeted Violence and Terrorism Prevention Grant Program. Funding sources from the Department of Homeland Security for training and technical assistance for targeted violence and terrorism prevention. It was advertised, the RFP was published in the Journal, on the county website, and circulated through social media, with sealed bids accepted for 2 weeks, closing on Wednesday, October 19th, 2022 at 4 p.m. Two sealed bids were received from Summit Point Training Facility in the amount of $163,039.31, and one from National Policing Institute in the amount of $178,070.54. The recommendation is that both bids received were well over the grant budgeted amount. Therefore, I request both bids be rejected and a new RFP be published for bids.
What was the grant budgeted?
We prefer not to say publicly.
Oh, okay.
Tracy will be happy to let you know privately.
It's all right.
But this is substantially higher than the grant will allow. So we met early this week, and they're gonna fine tune it, tweak it a little bit, try and get within the grant budget.
All righty. In order to do that, do I have a motion to reject the bid for the training and technical assistance targeted violence terrorism prevention?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Bid is rejected. Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy.
Good luck with the next one.
April, Elizabeth, thank you all.
Tell Matt I said hi. Alrighty. We have a gentleman here with us, Craig, is that for an interview for the Berkeley Senior Services, is that correct? Yeah, yes it is. Come on up, welcome today. Tell us,
First of all, I just want to say it's a blessing to sit on part of the meeting, doing an excellent job for the county. And also, I want to, on behalf of Panhandle Home Health, I'm employed there. We were a recipient of one of the relief fund grants, and I can assure you we'll be a good custodian for that, and we appreciate you thinking about us.
thank you. My, let's see, it's been several years ago, but my family has been received of, or was in receipt of the your all services at one time when my mom fell, so thank you.
It's kind of like insurance. You don't know what you need till you need it.
Yes, indeed, without a doubt.
And the organization's been in the area for over 40 years.
Yeah, it has been. And the executive director I graduated with.
Top notch.
Yep. That being said, welcome, and tell us a little bit more about yourself and why you would like to be on the board at Senior Services.
I'm a CPA by trade. Of course, now I work for Panhandle Home Health, been employed by Panhandle Home Health for over 20 years. That said, I have over 30 years of accounting finance experience. We serve some of the population that Berkeley Senior Center Services also does. Previously, I've been on the board. I had to step away because of the term requirements.
That's right.
Amy asked me to submit the application. I was more than happy with that. We have a nice team over there. We work with Aunt Amy and Mazan and the other board members. And, appreciate your recommendation.
Okay. Well, start off with Mr. Barnhart. Do you have any questions or?
Well, as a CPA, do you think the senior services is financially doing what they should be doing?
From my experience, I guess pre-COVID, yes, sir. I mean, they're on top of regulations. They have an annual audit from an independent CPA firm. From my experience, very, very wise with their funds and very confident in their leadership team.
We'll sell you the building for $1.
Oh, you know, sometimes I don't have any. Sometimes I'll maybe like have $2, so I'll have something to take home with me.
Anything else, Mr. Barnhart? Mr. Coconut?
Well, I think it speaks volumes that when the director asked you to reapply, that obviously your services and your dedication to that board previously was appreciated. I know that they're always looking for that skill set that you have, and I'm sure it would be beneficial to them, especially creating the budget when they build the budget and that kind of stuff. So I think we ought to fulfill Amy's wish and get you back on there.
And my previous experience with the board, it is a diverse board. You have an attorney, you have a financial person, have somebody in the medical community. So it's diverse. It's not, all one type of individual. So that brings a lot of help to Amy and the county and the monies that flow into that candidate.
Dan Dollier is not here today, and he's our liaison to the board. I don't know if there's any vacancies or what the heck's going on.
I'm not sure either, but I don't have any questions other than thank you for wanting to reapply and volunteer again. I know that the Senior Services Board or the senior service community is a wonderful asset that we have that I think it's used pretty good, and your willingness to help out there is commended.
I've tried to coordinate the senior services with Meals on Wheels. I wasn't very successful. I know you supply meals to the elderly, and Meals on Wheels, of course, supplies meals to the elderly, but the Meals on Wheels, of course, handles the entire county. And I think you're just, what, the city of Martinsburg or that sort of thing? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what the
Yeah,
outreach is.
but I
now.
wasn't really successful in trying to coordinate them. You know, maybe you can have better luck at that. And I don't know what other agencies serve the seniors, you know, but, you know, it would be nice to have them all get together and coordinate or
Collaborate.
Yeah, that's the
Collaborative.
hope. We use
Yeah.
what we have
Yeah.
to network and
Yeah.
don't duplicate services and
So-
make sure that people need the services are
Yeah,
getting.
if you get on the board, and that's up to Dan, but I'd like to see something happen with that, because I think that's something we're missing.
Certainly give you a voice.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Potter, and tell Lisa I said hi.
I will.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Davis, I think you're up.
Yes, sir. Two quick things for the council's consideration. The first is state budget revision number 5 to the general fund. Since last month, we've received 24 checks totaling $279,222. Just a couple things of note. If the council will recall, on Thursday, January 27th, 2022, we had a massive power outage in Martinsburg, power surge when a local tree trimming business dropped a limb on a high voltage wire, and it caused quite a bit of damage here. We immediately got Anthony involved, and we were probably one of the first to file a claim against the company. It was insured through Erie Insurance Company. Well, for the past 8 months, we've been going through that process of repairing equipment and things like that. We have now settled that claim, so you'll see that there's a check from Erie Insurance for our property damage claim due to the power surge in the amount of $169,589. That makes repairs to the already chill system in the back, as well as some of the rooftop units to the judicial center, lighting, things like that were damaged as part of that power surge. We also received a check for $30,000 from the risk pool for a 2019 Dodge Durango police cruiser that was totaled and could not be repaired. We received 2 checks this month from Gov Deals, one for $750 and one for $460 for the sale of some of our surplus vehicles. We received 1 check from the Jefferson County Sheriff for overtime reimbursement to the Sheriff's Department in the amount of $2,834, and received 7 checks for IT services provided by our IT department to outside agencies, totaling $2,177. I'm recommending that the disbursement of this money, of course, we would put the $2,177 back in the information technology department's budget, the $2,834 in overtime reimbursement back in the overtime budget for the Sheriff's Department. We did have 2 claims payments for repairs being done to county vehicles, totaling $9,538, which would go into Central Garage. What we have been doing when we sell our surplus property vehicles, or when we have a vehicle that's totaled, rather than put that money back in contingency, we've actually been putting that into our capital outlay vehicle line items, so that as we replace these vehicles, we're paying cash for them as we go. So I'm recommending that $31,210 be put in capital outlay vehicles, and then the balance of $233,463 would go into your contingency account, which would bring that account up to $1,966,532. And we'll draw that down quite a bit next month as we make some budget adjustments due to salary increases that you approve. That's it.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the state budget revision 05, Fund 001?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. And bid recommendation.
Yes, sir. As the council's aware, a month or so ago, we were contacted by HIDA and told that they had some surplus monies that was available in the current federal fiscal year that were left over from some underperforming day report centers, and of course they came to us and said, "Do you want some money?" And we said, "Absolutely, we would." The money that was provided by HIDA, which was in excess of $200,000, I think it was 276 or 279. We will use to offset some of our salaries. But also, we'll buy some additional supplies and things like that. When HIDA first contacted us, the first thing that I asked him is, will they allow us to buy another van? So he went back to him. They came back and said, yes, we'll let you buy another van. The last van that we bought for the day report center was a 7-passenger minivan. And we purchased it for about $24,000. So that was the amount of money that we originally asked HIDA to earmark for us. On October 13th, we opened the bids for a 2023 7-passenger van. We got 2 bids. Whiteside of St. Clairsville, Ohio, provided us a bid for a 2023 GMC Savannah in the amount of $49,585, and Hagerstown Ford provided the low bid for a 2023 Ford Transit Connection. Apparently, minivans are a thing of the past. If you know anything about the Ford Transit Connection, it's almost like a step van. It's got a little bit of a higher ceiling. We went back to HIDA. We shared the quotes with them and asked them if there was any way that we could not change the total amount of the additional disbursement, but instead of using that money for some of the supplies and things like that, if we could redirect the money to supplement the difference between the original amount of $24,000 and the low bid amount of $33,650, which they've agreed to do. So we are recommending that we purchase a 2023 Ford Transit Connect van in the amount of $33,650. Of course, like we do with HIDA, we'll purchase the van out of our capital vehicles account, and then when we get the reimbursement from HIDA, we'll put it right back in there.
Is there any outfitting costs for this thing?
The only outfitting cost we have with that is we wrap all the vans now. We put some of the day report logo on there, and if you follow one of the vans, I don't know if you've ever seen on the back of the van, it says "Recovery begins here." We'll wrap that van in this, but it's the cost is minimal.
Where do they park them?
Right now, they're parked over by the DRC.
Is that a secure?
Well, we have.
I mean, with the sheriff there.
We have, with the hours of operation, the only time that someone really isn't at the DRC is Sundays. But as you said, the sheriff's department is in and out. We've never had any problems with vandalism.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Catalytic converters. Yeah. Apparently, I just talked to the representative from the most recent group of Fords that we bought. They actually came out of Chambersburg. They're having trouble on the car lots. where people are actually coming onto the new and used car lots and stealing catalytic converters from the vehicles right on the lots.
Nothing sacred.
Nope. Okay, you heard the recommendation. Is there a motion for the approval of the 7-passenger van for DRC?
Yeah, motion to approve the purchase from Hagerstown Ford, the low bid of 2023 Ford Transit Connect, the amount of $33,650.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Like sign opposed, motion carries.
Transportation is our biggest pinch point right now with the DRC. We've been able to accommodate everyone that needs transportation, but if we have a van that's in a vehicle accident, which we have one now that's being repaired, it certainly puts hardship on the DRC, so this will help out a lot.
How long before it shows up?
Well, we've talked to Hagerstown Ford. I was pretty confident that the council was going to award the bid today, so we had them order it last week, but they can't give us a delivery date, so it's in the pipeline.
As soon as those chips make it in off of that boat, we'll get
But
it.
if you remember back in March, we ordered 7 small SUVs that our intent was to put those in our engineering and permit department and take those vehicles, move their vehicles over to be used by police reserve, so we could get rid of some of those vehicles that they use. We just received notification from the dealership that those vehicles have now been manufactured and they're being transported here. So that's been since March. We just finished the assessor's vehicles. We had an incident, I guess it was earlier this spring, early summer, where one of our assessors rolled up on private property and was met with the business end of a gun because they didn't know who they were, because the vehicle really wasn't marked as well as it should be. So we've put strobe lights and some other identification on the assessor's vehicles. When these 7 vehicles come in, when we take delivery of those, last week the council awarded the outfitting of those, not awarded those on the purchase order log. The outfitting of those vehicles will also have strobe lights and will be prominently identified as being official government vehicles. We don't want to put any of our employees at risk.
Okay. Anything else? Do we have nothing for executive session?
No, sir, we do not.
Okay. Any items from the public? Mr. Barnhart,
Move to recess.
we are in recess.